What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. You can head to the link in my description below and grab a free novel and a free graphic novel from me. If you love science fiction and comics, all this kind of fun geek hobby stuff, you're absolutely going to love my work. Please check it out. It will help support the channel. And if you enjoy that and you have been signed up for the newsletter, go grab AI Wars #1, my new comic out now. That link is also in the description below. Just tons of science fiction action fun. None of the SJW nonsense. Just a good comic book. You'll absolutely love it. Check it out. All right, we are getting to the news of today. And yesterday we talked about Ant Lab Games, which is this game reviewing couple. They are a mixed race couple, incidentally, who the SJWs decided to go after and cancel. And yes, I of course see the irony in who they choose as their targets here. It was absolutely all over the internet yesterday. Reddit was going berserk on it. Facebook groups were going berserk on it. Twitter was going berserk. This other lady, her name is Sarah Shaw. She's actually a Muslim board game reviewer, was actually getting canceled and targeted by this same group. So they are really going after groups you wouldn't actually expect them to go after at this point. It's because at this point in the cancel culture game, they've already canceled just normal white people enough to have it not be the standard target anymore. They have to hit every single group, everybody who has any sort of, quote, wrong think at all. They're emboldened. They are nastier and more vicious than ever before. So the board game folk, Ant Lab Games here, returned under their new channel, Geek Mavericks. They switched to their new channel. I don't know why they rebranded. I don't know why they thought that's getting away from all this stuff, but they did. Really nice video. I watched the whole thing, and I scrolled back here. The first about 30 minutes are going over the situation, what happened with them, and what they're doing going forward, and all of that. Now, their takeaway is very interesting. I, of course, listened to their explanations and all that. And the first thing I thought was, guys, don't explain yourselves. The more that you explain yourselves, the more that these people come after you. Every single time, they just want to attack. So if you give them more information, they're going to twist that information to attack. They don't actually care about what happened. They don't care about the truth of the matter. They don't care about your intentions. They don't care about how good of a person you are. They're going to come after you and try to destroy you even harder once they smell some blood in the water. And that's certainly the case that's happening here. They went further, and of course, these seem like just very nice people with this Ant Labs Games, or Geek Mavericks as they want to call themselves now. They're just very relaxed. You can tell they're very upset because, of course, they are. They lost a bunch of friends for no reason because they didn't do anything. And they're trying to take this like high road approach where we're not going to name names because we need to stop this cycle of blah, blah, blah. The thing is, when you do that, there is no actual cycle going on. There is only SJWs who are going after just normal people, like this wonderful couple right here. And this is exactly the whole problem, is that I would say 80% of our side, who are just, again, just normal people. This isn't really a political thing. I don't know where these guys stand politically, and I don't care. 80% of our side doesn't want to fight back. They want to just try to end it. They want to try to get out of it because they see that this is nasty, and they think that just by showing that they're going to be better, that these people will stop this sort of thing. But it never stops. And so I'm going to try to go over the background of what I know and what I found out. I'm not going to be able to go into the detail of the biographies of everybody who is involved here, but I know who some of the main proprietors of this SJW cancel culture are, and how they targeted this fine couple here. And I am going to name them since they will not. So you'll get to find out kind of who the ringleaders of this are. You can do the research into their backgrounds yourselves. But a lot of these people who are going off on them, their tweets are protected now. They're running block bots to where they're blocking people on Twitter, based on a list. So that's where we're at the moment right now. Now, all this actually originated from this thing called a Tabletop Mentorship program, and it's called like tabletopmentorship.org. And I guess they give money to people who are creating board games or board game content or something like that. I don't exactly understand the whole point of this. It seems weird. When you read it at first, you almost think that like they're trying to mentor people playing board games, and why would you need that? But they give these little micro grants, and if you click learn more here, you'll learn that you have to have certain qualifications. So your application will get considered. The blah 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 blah. Who's eligible? Here we go. They must consider themselves to be an underrepresented in the tabletop community. Gender, ethnicity, disability, sexuality, race, age, or other demographics. So you have to tell them why you are a victim for being a minority to start off. Be making something related to analog tabletop games. Here we are. And be able to receive funds. Okay. So this stuff's pretty normal, but of course, they have to virtue signal by only giving money to certain demographics. That is, of course, gosh, I mean, that the high horse attitude of that just drives me crazy every time. So of course I applied last night also, because I'm the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, and I'm making board game content on YouTube, and I might even make a board or card game out of my Flying Sparks property or something like that. Who knows? So I applied because I am a underrepresented in the tabletop community, as I've got no representation in the tabletop community, and we'll see how that goes. But this is what they do. So they're all about just like pushing this demographic based thing and making board games, which is just something you do at home with your family typically, a social justice cause rather than just people playing games. Okay, so this all comes from this person, T Cares, which is her name's Tiffany Cares, I believe, the one tar, and she has a YouTube channel reviewing board games. I'm sorry, they have a sorry, I can't do that with a straight face. YouTube channel, got about double my subscribers for now. I'm going to pass this pretty quickly. But, the typical thing where, just board game reviews, etc., learn to play. All right. And this comes from Ant Lab's Instagram, where they posted they-them's comment on this here. And here it is. It's been called to my attention that Ant Lab is doing mentorships for new creators, which they're actually helping mentor new creators. I would like to just very openly say that the channel has a not great history with the industry. Other creators, publishers, and viewers, you can do your own Googling. So they make a vague accusation, just like SJWs always do, and then everybody jumps on them. And you can see that their Ant Labs is very frustrated with what's going on here. And it pretty much originated with this. Now, there's a cabal of people who are in the same Facebook groups, in the same board gaming groups. They make these board game videos. They end up on the same channels together talking about board games and things like that. And this is much like the situation with Richard C. Meyer when the industry professionals in the comic book industry went into a Facebook group together and started trying to threaten him and try to frame him for a crime at a convention and things like that. So we have the same sort of situation with these gatekeepers of the board game industry, which is just the board game review industry, really. But they are attempting to exert their power and ensure that everybody's miserable, and ensure that these nice people can't mentor other people on whatever it is they want to mentor them on, which is very bizarre. Like, why would you do this? And the answer is just because they are SJWs and they want to harm people. This is all they want to do. There's never any good faith. There's never any good arguments. This is it. All right. So, Tiffany Cares, or the one tar, was kind of the ringleader who started this. And the group involves some other people who I will go over also. Suzanne Sheldon, and you see this is the Dice Tower. And it's really sad that this lady's on the Dice Tower. But she was brought in because there were complaints, of course, just like normal, that there's no, quote, minority representation. And the minute you start getting that into your organization is the minute that your organization starts to flail and become this sort of SJW deal. So she does board game content. I think she was originally brought on. I remember when she first started with the channel, because I actually like the Dice Tower a lot, and the guy who runs it, Tom Vassell, is a very solid guy. He just, like normal people, just doesn't want to deal with it and brings in these folk, and this is what happens. But she reviewed Kickstarters for a while. Her content is really not on the quality level of the Dice Tower compared to the rest, and she started bringing in other people who, of course, held SJW views and wanted to attack people like this. So Susan, I forget how to pronounce her name, is one of the people who is going after them also. All right. Next is going to be Bold Bebo, who is all about Be Bold Games, is her deal, or their deal. Of course, they all do this now. They just like call themselves all these words in order to get some extra victim points. But you can tell it's a woman, so I don't know why anybody would. That's another video. Okay. But this is her Be Bold Games thing, and basically she runs this whole sort of Al Sharpton level thing where you pay them and they give you Kickstarter marketing for your board game. So you go in, you give them money, and they I guess promote your board game with all these channels because they got their little in-crowd circles, and hopefully you'll get some extra attention from that. So it's a little marketeering racket, and of course another gatekeeping racket, which is involved here. And so it makes sense that this person is there. And as you can see, the tweets are protected. Almost all these people's tweets are protected. Suzanne's tweets were protected. I didn't pull that up, but they are also. The next major person involved here is this guy, Calvin Wong. And Calvin Wong, of course, worked with Fantasy Flight Games and does all these different board game channels and things like that. Just is one of those people who goes around and attacks people. So, and then gets these minor positions in the board game industry as a I guess, kudos points for it. But that's it. So those are the major ringleaders. Of course, there's more, and I can't go into everybody who's attacking them because it's a predominant amount of people within this board game industry. But this goes further. So a couple weeks ago, Rodney from Watch It Played used his channel and his Twitter in order to attack board game designer Phil Eklund and try to cancel him based on one of his contributors making a fuss about his rulebook content on the internet. It was ridiculous. He got him canceled, and they got a board game online company canceled. So even though he's maybe not part of this cabal, he's not speaking up on behalf of Ant Lab Games, and he's one of the ones who's responsible. And then, of course, we've got Eric Lang, who just goes on and he just makes victim points on the internet all day long. Men don't listen to women about issues that primarily affect women. And he just goes and just attacks anybody on the right, attacks people about Christianity and all that. And, you know, of course, now he's recanting his attack on Christianity, which was a little nasty the other day. I almost made a video about that, but I'm glad he's recanting it. Not because I don't believe it. He does. Okay, whatever. So you could just see that there is this like sort of cabal that's going around and just really being nasty to people because of social justice. And this is the entire deal. So I've named a bunch of them. There's a lot more. We're going to be monitoring the situation. Got to name and shame because this is all about social pressure. All these people do is exert social pressure on people like Ant Labs Games in order to get them pushed out so that they can enact even crazier, weirder SJW stuff and try to harass you and your families. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So I'm going to be fighting it. If Ant Lab Games won't fight it, I'll do it on their behalf. Don't really care if that's what they're into or not, because this needs to be done, and we need to get back to normalcy, and we need to support normal people, and the people who are causing the problems need to be known. All right, hit that like and subscribe button. We will be back soon.